Maya and her husband, Klaus Damtoft, are being dropped off by a taxi in their driveway. They are coming back from a company dinner at Klaus's workplace. They've been married for 25 years and have a 15-year-old son named Magnus. Klaus wanted children sooner, but Maya wanted to finish her degree first. Maya is now a medical doctor, while Klaus works with IT solutions. Loose boards are lying around the sidewalk because they are constructing an annex for their son. Their once little boy is growing so fast, and they hope to have him a little longer. Klaus is a little tipsy and can't find the keys, so he goes through Magnus's window to try to unlock the door from inside. He tries hard not to awaken his son, but soon realizes that all that work is for nothing, because the door is not even locked in the first place. Klaus and Maya are a happy couple, and Sunday is their favorite day of the week. They get to spend time together, tending to their garden and going on a good run. For them, it's the day for family to be together. Magnus also gets to play internet games with Klaus, a worthy opponent. They also go on family dinners, where Klaus gets to retell the same jokes, but his supportive wife still laughs anyway. Maya is working on her dissertation while juggling motherhood and being a wife. This means she has to wake up early on weekdays to work on her paper before getting her husband and son up. She ensures everyone is ready for the day, especially Magnus, who sleeps a lot and always seems tired. Maya enjoys dropping Magnus to school and dreads the day she can no longer do it. Magnus has found a new interest in religion and is attending confirmation prep classes. After dropping Magnus, Maya then goes to the hospital. She specializes in invasive cardiology and is really good at it. She loves her job. Her best friend at work is Signa, a free spirit who loves life. Signa has a boyfriend named Kim, who she only sees on Wednesdays. They usually get together, have dinner, do the deed, and then, on Thursday, go different ways until the next Wednesday. Maya cannot understand how she can be so comfortable with that arrangement. She cannot relate because she has a normal, happy life with her husband. Happy as it might be, it gets boring sometimes. There are instances of awkward silence and absence. Maya has an admirer at work, Dr. Sebastian, from endocrinology. She gives him little attention because, come on, she is happily married. Klaus and Maya often gift and surprise each other to keep the spark in their marriage alive. However, Klaus travels a lot for work, and Maya feels lonely when he is not around. She sometimes sleeps in her son's room to manage her aloneness. On this particular day, Maya is picking Klaus from the airport. Instead of going home, Klaus insists on dropping by the office first. Maya notices that something is going on with Klaus. He asks her to pull over so that they can talk. Out of the blue, Klaus says he wants a divorce. This is not what Maya had in mind, so she finds it hilarious. However, Klaus is far from being a comedian. He means business. They've been together for over 2 decades, so Maya thinks they can discuss it. Klaus, amid tears, says that he does not love Maya anymore and cannot continue to be married to her. She thinks Klaus is going through a midlife crisis, something a session with a marriage counselor could solve. Klaus has made up his mind, so he opens the trunk, picks up his luggage, and proceeds on foot. Maya is in shock. Klaus just dropped a bombshell and left. She contemplates driving back, but she decides to follow Klaus. She finds him reuniting with another woman, whom he happily embraces like he had waited for that moment all his life. Out of confusion, she drives around until her battery goes off. She walks back home, wondering how to break the news to Magnus. Upon reaching home, she finds Klaus already there. Like the family man he is, he asks Magnus and Maya to sit around the table so that he can share the news. He tells Magnus that he has had many fruitful conversations with his mother, and they have both decided to get divorced. Maya is shocked to hear she agreed to it, but Klaus has more. He tells Magnus that he can continue living with his mother and visit him on weekends. Klaus has everything figured out. Magnus wonders why his parents are getting divorced, and Klaus delivers. According to Klaus, Maya has been spending much time on her dissertation and work, causing them to grow apart. Klaus concludes his award-winning speech by asking everyone to remain objective despite recent developments. Maya follows Klaus outside to confront him, but holds back when she sees some neighbors passing by. She assures Magnus that it will be okay. She still believes that Klaus is going through a crisis. The next scene opens 3 weeks later, and Maya has adjusted to the new arrangement. She drops Magnus at school and goes to work. She complains to Sina about the many friend requests she is receiving on Facebook after changing her status from married to single. Sebastian has also sent a request, and Sina says he is a catch. Besides Klaus, Maya has only been with one other man, and feels she lacks sufficient skills to jump back into the dating scene. Sina tells her to take a step at a time, and that one day, there will be a light that will give her renewed energy to continue living her life. It's the weekend, and Magnus is getting ready to go to Susanna's house, the woman Klaus is seeing. Klaus picks him while Maya watches from a distance. She is getting ready for bed when she suddenly decides to trace Magnus's iPhone. She then goes to the address, Susanna's house. Maya Googles the house, and while she reviews photo descriptions, she can't help but imagine the fun they are having there as a complete family. She even imagines Klaus's and Susanna's playtime, where they mock her as they do their funny business. She snaps back to reality when Klaus knocks on her car window after catching her snooping around. With a smug face, he hands her divorce papers and advises her to go off Facebook for a while. At work, Maya tells Sina how embarrassed she was when she was caught spying. Sina invites her to a ladies' night on Friday evening, but Maya can't shake off the betrayal. She feels she was way better than Klaus, and that if anyone was leaving, it should have been her. Over the lunch break, Maya runs into Sebastian. He tells her that since she will not accept his friend request or go on a date, he will settle for coffee together at their workplace. Maya talks about her dissertation, while Sebastian talks about his work with UNICEF in Sudan. Maya then receives a call from Emily, who calls to inform her that she saw Klaus with another woman. Emily gives the description of the woman, but Maya tells her that she already knows about Susanna. She thanks her for her time anyway. Maya returns to continue her conversation with Sebastian, but she feels the urge to call Emily back for more details. Emily tells her that the aforementioned woman was very young, and she saw her with Klaus at Magnus's school about a year ago. Maya quickly realizes that the said woman is not Susanna, but Magnus's PE teacher. Upon discovering that Klaus has been sneaking around for much longer than she thought, she calls him, but it goes straight to voicemail. That doesn't stop her from giving him a piece of her mind, which leaves all her colleagues in dismay as she hurls insults at her ex-husband. Later that evening, Maya goes online and finalizes the divorce procedure. She then removes her wedding ring and heads out for the girls' party with Sina. At the club, she runs into a young man named Andreas, a patient she once operated on for appendicitis. Andreas offers to pay for Maya's drink, but she is still new to the hooking up business and sheepishly flees. She goes to the washroom, where an older woman, Amelie, gives her dating tips. Amelie advises her to go on Tinder and shoot her shot. She also tells her that though she might feel all beaten and defeated by the divorce, she will land on soft grass in 6 months. Who knew that you could find sober advice from an old drunk woman? Sina then tells her to drink and enjoy the night. She does just that. They dance the night away until 3 in the morning when the women leave. Maya is shocked to see Sina leave with a man she just met, yet she has a man she sees on Wednesdays. Seeing that it's a Friday, Wednesday Kim should not stop Sina from seeing other people on a Friday. She sits outside wondering where to go when a random man attempts to hook up with her. She declines the offer, but the man is persistent. It's about to get awkward when her knight in shining armor rescues her. Andreas fights off the man, and they both take a taxi to his residence, a dormitory. There is an uncomfortable silence as the two contemplate how to begin their dance. Although Maya is a little shy at first, she finally lets go. When Andreas goes down on her, she moans so loudly as the rust on her is being washed away. The following morning, Maya wakes up in her birthday suit and struggles to find her clothes. Andreas then walks in with breakfast. He teases her about the previous night, pointing out that a neighbor even texted him to inquire about a roaring elk in his room. After breakfast, they both walk past the dormitory's shared kitchen, where Andreas's schoolmates make fun of him for hooking up with a woman his mother's age. Maya tells Sina about Andreas the following week at work, and Sina encourages her to continue seeing him. Sina even helps her flirt with him while she replies to his messages. However, Maya is holding back due to their age difference. Maya is also facing financial security issues following her divorce, so she reaches out to her bank later that evening, hoping to secure a loan. The bank assistant is not so sympathetic to her situation and says she can only increase her overdraft limit. Disappointed, Maya goes on Facebook to search for Andreas. She sends him a message, which Andreas replies almost immediately. They flirt back and forth, and Maya cannot help but feel like a 16-year-old again. The following day, Maya is getting Magnus ready for the weekend at his dad's. She is in a good mood and can't wait for her son to leave, as she is going on a date with Andreas. They go boat riding, where they drink and talk about themselves. Andreas asks her whether she has finally broken free from the shackles of boring marriage life, and encourages her to be free. Suddenly, Andreas dives in for a swim and invites Maya to join him. She is hesitant at first, but eventually gives in, signifying the beginning of her rebellion against what is considered normal life. After a nice swim, Andreas suggests they go to an art exhibition. Maya is done beating around the bush, so she says they should have a rematch at her house. They do just that. This time, Maya is on top of the situation like a pro, and it's time for Andreas to be amazed. During halftime, Maya goes to get a drink when she sees a photo of Magnus on the fridge door and immediately uses another photo to cover it, before Andreas can see it. Andrea wakes up the next morning to admire the beauty of Maya's home. Maya's beauty also takes his breath away, so he takes a few photos of her. Maya is uncomfortable having photos of her in her state of nature saved to her phone and wants to delete them. However, Andreas playfully denies her the opportunity to delete them. Later that day, Maya picks Magnus up from his friend's house after a LAN party. Renee, his friend, is using Magnus's iPad when he accidentally sees Maya's photos. They had been automatically uploaded to Maya's iCloud, which Magnus could access. Embarrassed, she hurriedly leaves with Magnus. Magnus confronts Maya on the way home, noting that if she had picked him up sooner, she would not have had time for the photo session. Maya apologizes, but Magnus is having none of it. Maya then notes that Magnus has lost a considerable amount of weight. When asked whether she will stay back and prepare a meal for her malnourished son, she says she has a shift and the best she can do is order pizza. Maya is in a park with Andreas, where they play frisbee. He tries to teach her the correct stance, but the lovebirds cannot have enough of each other. As days pass, the couple continues to spend much time together, exploring each other inside out. Her newfound love starts to affect her work life, as she begins to show up late for meetings. She even confesses to Sina that she is so occupied with her extracurricular activities with her young lover that she no longer has time to work on her dissertation. Klaus is picking up Magnus for the weekend when he stops by to inform Maya about Magnus's confirmation venue. He has found a room at the boat club, but they must put their heads together to raise the money for the location. Maya points out that she is a little short on money, which Magnus interprets as her lack of support towards the confirmation process. Klaus then says that he wants equity from the house, since he is trying to buy a bigger house to live with Susanna. Klaus blatantly says that he cannot continue to pay the mortgage, and even threatens to involve lawyers if Maya does not buy him out amicably. Later that day, Maya and Andreas are on a date smoking a blunt when she accidentally mentions that she has a son. It could be the herb, don't you think? Andreas is unsettled about why she kept it a secret, but is even more bothered to learn that Magnus is 15. Andreas is 25 years old, making him closer in age to Magnus than his lover. Nonetheless, love is understanding, so they carry on with their date. Maya then goes to see her lawyer about the house. He informs her that although there might be any profits from the house, all proceeds go to paying off Klaus's old debt. He further says that she can only salvage the situation if she has not signed an instant divorce, which she unfortunately has. She speaks with Sina and contemplates telling Magnus about his father's secret to get back at him. She then gets home to Andreas playing a video game with Magnus. She tries to make Andreas leave before Magnus can decipher what's going on between them, but Andreas asks her for a dance. She is shy and hesitant, but Andreas tries to persuade her while hugging her. Magnus sees them from the next room, and Maya is forced to ask Andreas to leave. Before he leaves, Andreas points out that he is serious about her. Maya tries to tell her son that Andreas is just a friend, but who is she kidding? A few days later, Maya goes to watch Andreas's game, and his classmate cannot help but look at her with utter dismay. After the game, Maya breaks up with Andreas and tells him to find a girl his age. She notes they had a good time, but it's time to face reality. Andreas does not take the news so well and angrily leaves. Maya goes back home and unhides Magnus's photo. Magnus has lost his appetite, so to start up a conversation, Maya suggests that they play Jack. Well, Magnus is not 7 anymore, nor is he interested in a conversation. He reminds her mother about the location of the confirmation, which he says Klaus has booked and is awaiting payment. He then tells Maya that he has agreed to live with his father primarily and only visit Maya on the weekends. This breaks Maya's heart, but she agrees to the new arrangement. She is all alone in the house now, and neither can she find Andreas in all the spots where they used to hang out. 6 months later, Signa is helping Maya pack up after putting the house up for sale. Maya points out her disbelief in her son's commitment towards the confirmation. He has attended 40 lessons and 12 Sunday services. The confirmation is now nearing, and Magnus has invited Susanna as well. Signa jokingly asks if he could bring her Wednesday Kim, but since it's on a Sunday, Maya cannot help but wonder whether they have become permanent. Sina then invites Maya for dinner later that evening, but she declines, saying she is going on a date with some Robert guy from Tinder. Sina wonders why she has become reckless, and she says it's because her family has left her alone. She wonders when there will be a ray of hope in her life. She is all dressed up and ready for her date when Klaus calls to inform her that he will drop off Magnus at 10 a.m. for the weekend. She then begins to drink by herself, and within no time, she is dancing alone. Her date Robert tries to call her, but she's too preoccupied to hear the phone. She finally sees the missed calls and decides to go out. However, instead of meeting Robert, the completely drunk Maya goes to the dormitory to look for Andreas. Andreas shows up with a girl his age by his side. Maya tries to persuade him to come back to her, but the young man has moved on. Andreas asks Maya to go home and sleep it off. Sina is returning home with his Wednesday Kim when they find Maya sleeping on their porch. Kim helps her get inside, where she spends the night. The following morning, Maya realizes that she called her ex multiple times while she was drunk. As Sina is pouring her a cup of coffee, Maya discovers that Sina is wearing a ring. It dawns on her that Sina has found true love while she is out here, gallivanting alone in the streets. She then takes the bus and heads home. At home, she is putting her life back together when she sees Magnus lying on the floor, unconscious. She immediately snaps back to reality as she tries to perform first aid while calling an ambulance. At the hospital, she calls Klaus and informs him about their son, while she waits for her son to be attended to. She breaks down and blames herself for forgetting that Magnus was being dropped off that day. Sebastian informs her that Magnus has type 1 diabetes. Maya cannot believe she could not see all the symptoms, yet they were right in front of her. Fatigue and weight loss should have been enough indicators for her. Magnus wakes up, and Maya informs him of his condition. While she vehemently apologizes for not noticing sooner, Magnus only asks for Klaus, who is on his way back from Poland. Eventually, Klaus arrives with a gift for Magnus, and Magnus is excited to see him. His friends also visit him and cheer him up. Sebastian informs Magnus that he is going to be okay, but this does not raise his spirits. Later that night, Maya goes online and postpones her dissertation, an indication that she is taking time off to take care of her son. Early the next morning, Maya is leaving Magnus's room when she sees Klaus and Susanna. Her first instinct is to ignore them, but that would only make her the bitter ex now, wouldn't it? She goes back and talks to them about Magnus's confirmation. Klaus says he has already canceled the boat club, but Maya offers to hold it in her garden. Consequently, Susanna, who has been learning some vegetarian recipes online, offers to take care of the food. How mature and sweet of them to put their differences aside for Magnus's big day. With the house now sold, Maya and Klaus get together one last time for their son. They arrange furniture in the garden as they reminisce about the good times they once had there. Afterward, Klaus confesses to Maya that he regrets leaving his family to chase dubious women. Over drinks, they both talk about how different their lives would have been. Klaus is about to leave when he suddenly kisses Maya. Maya forbids him, but she kisses him back almost immediately. They wake up unclothed the following morning after what seems like a busy night. Maya is putting the final touches on the garden when Magnus shows up and tells her that the pastor has removed him from the list of people being baptized. Magnus missed several services while in the hospital. The pastor says he cannot be confirmed because he is not well equipped with knowledge about Jesus Christ. The only option is for Magnus to take the classes again the next fall. Magnus is disappointed, but tells his mother he will still attend the confirmation to celebrate with his friends. As the service is going on, Maya walks in and asks Magnus to follow him to the altar. Magnus is a little confused, as is the pastor, but he follows her lead. She grabs the book from which the pastor is administering the oath and fearlessly confirms her son. Astounded, the pastor has no choice but to say, "Amen." The party goes on as planned, and Magnus calls everyone's attention. He thanks Susanna for the food and his dad for the tent. He then takes a deep breath before addressing his mother. He says that even though he feels that Maya is stubborn at times, he is grateful because it reassures him that they will get through everything they face. He then embraces his father and mother passionately. The party ends, and it is time for the guests to leave. Susanna thanks Maya for the wonderful event, and then gets the car. Klaus is left behind talking to Maya. He apologizes for the manner in which he left Maya, and then asks Maya whether she is willing to give it another shot. In his words, this would make Magnus very happy. So who made him unhappy in the first place? Well, Maya tells her she has already forgiven him, and that he is the best father Magnus would ever ask for. However, she subtly reminds him that he cannot have his cake and eat it, so their being together again will never happen. She watches with no regret whatsoever as Susanna drives him away. A few weeks later, Maya is repainting her new house when she is notified that her dissertation has been accepted for defense. Magnus congratulates her, and they now seem to be in a better place. Suddenly there is that ray of light she has been waiting for, signifying that better days have finally come. Maya is sitting by the park which Andreas regularly visits. Coincidentally, Andreas is going on a jog when he sees Maya. The movie ends with the two exchanging looks of longing before walking away together.